thereby justifying what Jason Doyle just said.
Oh, please. How old are these reviews, by the way?
Well, they're
from 1980.
Years old.
What do you think? People didn't know how to write in 1980?
No, you're like, oh, well, he knew even back then. That gifted child was right on with the review.
JD is more gifted than Danny, I think. Hello, and welcome to Is This Bad? A show where we rewatch movies that we did not love, and with some distance test our priors to decide once and for all, is this bad? The man who's already laughing at me, I'm joined by my bearded Ebert, Jason Doyle.
I'm laughing because I'm having fun. I'm
Okay,
already having fun.
It's Halloween. This is a horror film. We're not here to have fun. We're here to deliver chills and thrills.
Okay.
And producing the show, even though, again, she's not producing the show, Elliot Leckar. Rachel Doyle.
Hi, I'm here at the desk.
Do you know what Elyad Leckar is?
Rachel Doyle and backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, Rachel Doyle backwards.
Well, you did some work on this one, huh? A little prep work. Thanks.
I did have to transpose every letter. I was like, E. I had to look at the name and do it backwards. All right, so today's movie, it is Halloween. It is spooky season. We are doing The Shining.
Yes.
1980, Stanley Kubrick. By this point, he's already done every movie you've known and heard of that's at every repertory cinema in this great nation of ours. Spartacus, Lolita, Dr. Strangelove, 2001, Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon. And after The Shining, he'll actually only do 2 more movies.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are, JD?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
And what's the other one? I don't know the other one.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, that.
Oh.
Oh, I thot that was before for some reason.
No, it was after.
Okay. All right.
So this stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers, and I promised myself, I said no Scatman reference. Don't do the Scatman voice. But I can't. You say Scatman Crothers, I can't do the Scatman John. Unrelated, by the way. Scatman Crothers, Scatman John. Not related. You know the Facebook Memories feature?
Yes.
So recently, one popped up for me, and it was a status update. It's troubling how often I used to update my status, because I get these memories frequently, almost daily. And it was Scatman John accidentally ordered a lot of Korean food. And that was it. And I was like, what? Like, oh, is this one of the things I'm looking back? This feels like racist, like, because he's saying nonsensical things. I'm saying that. But then I look at the comments, and someone says bibimbap, and I'm like, oh, that was my joke that I thought he was ordering bibimbap.
Right.
Bibimbap bada bo. Anyways, a joke that I was embarrassed to read alone on my computer.
Aww.
I just brought that to the podcast.
Yeah, but you were not embarrassed of it to put it out there in the world. I mean,
it's a real A to C though. I couldn't get there, and I wrote the thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe that anyone else understood it.
Yeah, but I don't know that Scatman John is as relevant now as he was back then. When did
you don't know if he's as relevant?
know.
I'll tell you, I can guarantee you he's not relevant. Okay?
All right.
Now, the most popular thing right now for kids is Skibbity Toilet, and Skibbity Toilet is kind of scatting a bit.
Totally. Absolutely.
Is he or it not?
Yeah. I would like the Skibbity Toilet to order some bibimbap.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I can guarantee you Scatman John, not nearly as relevant now as he was. And relevant is really a stretch in the 90s, too.
You're absolutely right.
But did he inspire Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Da? Maybe. Maybe he did.
Maybe.
A song that lives on to this day. So, as you know, the premise of the show is basically, it has to be a movie that at least one of us saw and did not love, and that movie has to be generally well reviewed.
Yes.
And we're going to come back, we're going to rewatch it, we're going to be like, were we in a bad mood that day? Did someone pee-pee in our cornflakes? What was it that made us not like the movie? Was it the movie itself? Was it something else? Was it our age? Was it the time period?
Yeah.
So we're going to rewatch The Shining, which some people are listening to this, JD. I know you don't want to admit this, but they're going, the fucking nerve of these people that they didn't They're asking, is The Shining bad? You're going to make Matt Austin the de facto graphic designer for this podcast, even though he has a Canva Pro subscription and that's about it? You're going to make him draw a thumbnail that has a picture of Jack Nicholson with his axe through a door, and it's going to say, is this bad over it?
That's exactly right. Because we could be wrong. I mean, hold on. Who didn't like the... I didn't like the movie when I first watched it. You didn't like it, Matt?
I saw it really recently.
Oh, okay.
I don't like scary movies, and I had heard, this is like the scariest movie of all time. This is one of the scariest. This will freak you out forever. So I never wanted to see it because I'm very sensitive to scares. And I don't like horror movies, and so I had avoided watching this one. And now I wonder, should I have? Because one thing we're going to discuss in this, is this a very scary movie?
I loved it when I saw it, and I stand by it. So.
Okay, you loved it, you stand by it. I saw it recently and thought it was good, but I didn't quite understand the insane amount of hype and one of the best movies of all time discourse surrounding it. And then, JD, what was your experience with it?
I watched it soon after it came out, so it came out in 1980. I would have watched it on a top-loading Betamax, probably. And I did not like it. I was 13, 14 at the time, and I should have loved it, I think.
You also you tried to read the book when you were 10.
I tried to read when I was 10, I tried to read the book. The Red Rum, I saw right away. Just like I picked out your backwards name of Rachel right off the bat. I knew exactly what you were saying. Were you
reading the book in a mirror? How did you find it? How'd you figure it out?
I just was like, well, that's murder backwards. I can tell what. And then I was like,
he was a gifted child.
I'm not into this.
Yeah, he's very smart.
Yeah.
You also, though, to be fair, you were 5 when you saw your first horror movie in the theater. He was watching Jaws.
It was more of a thriller.
I think anyone at that age would call it horror. So, I don't know. Maybe it was like nothing after that.
I guess.
What was... if you're watching it soon after it came out, I imagine there's hype, amongst your classmates, right? People being like, you gotta see The Shining.
I guess. Yeah, I was a bit of a movie buff, a nerd, when it comes to movies. And I was like, oh, this is one of the best horror movies ever, I hear. So, and I was going through definitely a horror phase. I subscribed to Fangoria magazine and, and I was into all the makeup and effects and all that stuff. And I was definitely into it. And this is around the era of American Werewolf in London had just come out. I love that movie. The Thing, Alien. I cannot wait to see it. It's right in the middle of that era, the peak horror for me in my life. So I was just really, really looking forward to it. Now,
were those movies as hyped as The Shining?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you were just trying to be difficult because you were tween, almost teen, and oh, this is supposed to be the best. Well, it sucks.
Listen. Okay. Well, we'll get into it, but again, I watched it on a Betamax on a tube television,
which is better than VHS. That's better than VHS.
It is better. Thank you, Matthew, because you're right. It is better.
Wow, you guessed.
I did not know that you subscribed to Fangoria magazine, but I honestly think that's the skeleton key to unlocking your personality. Now I understand you so much better. Wait, to me, as someone that only experienced Fangoria magazine walking through magazine stores, yes, there used to be magazine stores, was just was it like O Magazine? But instead of having Oprah on the cover every month, they just had the guy from Hellraiser with the pins in his head?
Pretty much.
To me, that's what it seemed like. I was like, oh, that pinhead guy's back. Or sometimes they'd put Freddy Krueger on the front, and you were going, the special effects on Freddy Krueger's face are actually achieved through a mix of practical. All right, but see, now as a nerd film buff. I would say Shining should have been right in your wheelhouse.
I know.
It's Kubrick. It's one of the greatest directors of all time. One of the greatest, pushing the visual language forward. One of the first uses of Steadicam. If you're just listening, I'm doing the jerking off motion. I mean, I'm only doing that because, and this is will be a theme running through this, I think. How do you separate what's intrinsic to a movie, meaning you just watch the movie, all you know is the movie you are watching in front of you, and all the extrinsic stuff, like, for instance, that it's Kubrick doing horror, that it's one of the first uses of Steadicam, which I'm telling you, nerds online are very excited about that. Yeah. But do I care? Like, does that make a difference to my enjoyment of the film? Does knowing this movie is, in a sense, you could say, so essential and iconic in popular culture that you will unknowingly have this movie ruined for you by the time you're 15 if you don't watch it first?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's from The Simpsons, from multiple episodes of The Simpsons. It's just to, here's Johnny, to the axe in the door.
You can't ruin it. You can't ruin it with any spoilers.
I disagree.
Because there's...
Okay, well, why don't we just jump to something then? Because I made a list of things that I think probably were scary that have been completely ruined by references in pop culture.
Okay.
The twins, the Grady twins, or they're not. Some people say they're not twins, but
they're not supposed to be.
They're not supposed to be twins. There's also a lot of discrepancies between The Shining, the book, and The Shining, the movie. But that's every chick grabbing her friend, being like, "I've got an idea for Halloween," right?
Sure. Yeah.
Indian burial grounds. Like it's almost a joke now that like, oh, well, why is all this happening? Well, they built it on an ancient Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
Red rum. That's murder by the time you're 12. Sorry.
Totally.
And by the way, that was explained to me when I was a teen in high school. I had not seen The Shining, like I said, but it was disconnected from The Shining. Like people were going like red rum. And they're like, that's murder backwards. And people like at a party writing it with lipstick on a mirror to be spooky. And you're like, you see, that's murder backwards. And then when I'm, by the time I saw the movie, I knew that it was from The Shining. Yeah. But I'm just saying these things sort of exist outside the movie, which in a sense is a great selling point for the movie. Because your movie has to be pretty fucking iconic to have things just exist untethered to the movie itself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The amount of iconic moments that are out there in pop culture that still exist to this day. I mean, like The Simpsons is a great example. You're like the Leo meme where you're like, oh, it's that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
running through
minutes.
a hedge maze, through a labyrinth. The elevator blood you've seen so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even say Jack Nicholson. Like his performance, the voice, the facial contortions, the tics, the mannerisms, has sort of almost become like a meme in and of itself. Well, we know the image of him frozen in the snow. I mean, would Twitter be able to exist without that image? You see that image every day.
I don't think so.
So I also found this funny. This is from a 1980 review.
Yeah.
This person from the Washington Post complains, Kubrick has already passed around his choicest tidbit, the sight of blood seeping out of elevator doors and flooding a hotel corridor. This image is admirably suited to the book since the evil manifestations at the Overlook Hotel are meant to begin as a trickle and end as a torrent. However, moviegoers have been watching these doors leak for several months now in the famous Shining trailer. The movie fails to augment this impressive shocker. I just find it so funny that people in the 80s were complaining that they'd already seen this stuff from a trailer. And we've spent like 44 years experiencing this stuff. So I just don't think you could separate it. I also think that people from the 80s would hate trailers nowadays.
Oh yeah.
If they thought trailers in the 80s gave away a lot.
Oh my God. No
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
Then we're going deep into the third act on trailers. We're trying to explain the entire movie.
To be fair to the trailer maker of The Shining, the elevator full of blood has no bearing on the story whatsoever.
Unless you tie it into the Indian burial ground.
Okay, all right. We're going into theories, are we?
Well, I mean, you're saying it has no significance whatsoever. I mean, what the hell? Make a connection, bro. I know you want to like this movie.
I do want to like it.
We all want to like it.
I like it.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, you want to like it? Well, I actually like it.
Okay, well, let me point this out. Not to out you or anything, but...
out me. Okay.
How did we watch the movie? How did we watch it?
Say iPad.
No.
We watched it on Inglorious 4K on our TV. How many sittings?
Ooh.
twice.
3?
No, we watched it twice.
No. Well,
3?
we did watch it twice, yes. But the first time we watched it, we had to turn it off because somebody was nodding off, Matthew.
Oh.
Somebody
What time was it?
nodding
What time
off.
was
That
it?
is.
To be fair, it
You
was
can't say that.
8:30-ish.
To be fair, it was 8:30.
No.
To be fair, it was 11:30 maybe.
Okay, this is totally bullshit because I fall asleep every time the TV comes on and it's dark out. Has nothing to do with what's on it. So, please.
Okay.
Oh, you are trying to. This is dirty.
That's
This
not
is
dirty.
dirty.
I'm just saying. I'm just.
You were allowed to bring up anything we want on this.
No,
show.
absolutely. But I fall
We're allowed
asleep.
to ruin
like,
our friendships over The Shining.
I do this with everything, even 90 Day Fiance.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
saying
That's
something.
true. That's
So
actually
what
true.
you're saying is you think 90 Day Fiancé should be mentioned in the same category as one of the most classic movies of all time. All right, so just before we get into it, like we've already said, you might be thinking it's crazy that we're doing this movie, but Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't have the score you might think it does. Critics 83 are obviously it's very good, but it's not like one of the most classic movies of all time good. Audience is 93, but Metacritic has it at a 68. Apparently, when it came out, the reviews were really mixed. I went back and read some of the OG reviews. Like Janet Maslin of the New York Times didn't love it. Variety didn't love it. Ebert didn't love it. I mean, they had some good things to say, obviously, but like Janet Maslin in the New York Times said, Supernatural story knows frustrating little rhyme or reason. Even the film's most startling, horrific images seem overbearing and perhaps even irrelevant, thereby justifying what Jason Doyle just said.
Oh, please. How old are these reviews, by the way?
Well, they're,
Well, they're from
44
1980.
years old.
What do you think people didn't know how to write in 1980?
No, you're like, oh, well, he knew even back then. That gifted child was right on with the review.
JD is more gifted than Danny, I think.
Wow. That is high praise.
That
Thank
is
you
high
for-
praise.
JD was watching the movie going, one thumb down.
100%.
In terms of awards, this was only one of Kubrick's last 9 films that got no nominations from the Oscars or Golden Globes.
Not even for cinematography?
Not even, though
What?
it was controversially nominated for the first ever Razzie Awards in
and
1981.
and walked away with a win, I believe. Did it
Yes. Yes, I think it was for Worst Actress for Shelley Duvall, but
Yes,
then
it
they
was.
later rescinded it in like 2022 because this is a whole controversial thing we don't need to get into, but there's some that claim that she was traumatized on the set and treated badly, which it does seem like she was.
not? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also she later defended him and said like, no, I actually really enjoyed that experience. He was a great director. But, you know, for instance, for the last nine months of shooting, she said the role required her to cry 12 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. She said it was so difficult being hysterical for that length of time. This is maybe somewhat apocryphal, but they did 127 takes of the scene on the stairs with the baseball bat.
Yeah, and they also did 142 with, what is his name? Dick
Halloran.
Dick Halloran.
Yeah. Scatman Crothers.
140
Crothers.
something, like that might behold the Guinness Book of World Records for too many takes.
Too many takes.
Matthew, let me ask you this. How many takes is too many takes?
I think it's till you get it right. It's till you get it right. Stan the man knew that.
You are nuts. Well, I mean, it did say, and I don't know whether it's true or not, because you said she was defending Kubrick, that he was trying to traumatize her so she was in the role of the abused wife. So
Yeah,
she really
that's what
felt
all
it.
directors say when they're
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
that. And then they walk away. They walk this way, smiling, and are like, "We got it." And she walks away that way, going, "I'm a shell of a human, and I'll never be the same again." Both equal, you know. It's a push-pull. Ruin someone's life to make a good piece of art, you know.
And then she gets a fucking Razzie. That is sick.
Yeah,
That's some fucked up
that's
shit.
some,
Because she was, like, maybe it was a little shaky to start. I heard this accent that she was trying to do at the beginning that kind of faded out after a while. But her emotional scenes were nuts. They were just so good. She was...
Yeah, so we can thread these through, but there's obviously, like I said, there's a book, there's a movie. Stephen King famously does not like the movie. He, in later years, has kind of like recanted this a bit and said, you know, found more things he appreciated about it. But one thing he did not like was the Wendy character in the book, which I have not read, Jill's read it, so I've asked her some questions. It's written as a more sort of thinking and full female character.
Yeah.
I guess you don't need to say female character. You could just say character.
Yeah.
But the way she is in the movie is more of a female character
Yeah.
in the sense of like it's not really fleshed out. And apparently Kubrick did not believe that a more thoughtful, feeling, smarter, sophisticated Wendy would have stayed with Jack because Jack sucked so hard.
Yeah.
So that was an amendment he made for the movie.
Yeah, I think he does have a point there, because Jack is a fucking asshole. Like from from the jump, he is just a dick. One of the more unlikable characters I've ever seen. He actually gets more likable the more crazy he gets, which is insane.
I mean, I think part of what Stephen King hated about it was the Jack character was basically a psychopath. There was nothing you could like about him in the movie, whereas in the book, there was like a humanity to him.
Yeah, but as even saying this as someone that didn't love the movie, sorry, Stephen King, I wouldn't like to watch a movie where, from Stephen King's perspective, Jack is actually kind of a well-meaning guy who's just struggling with alcoholism and struggling with
No,
writer's
it wasn't
block.
just that. It was the ghosts kind of took over Jack. Like, he wasn't fully...
Yeah, the hotel is evil and the hotel is making him act crazy.
Yeah.
Right, so it's
That's
not... It's not all
interesting
him,
to
though.
me, at least.
I would argue is more interesting. It's scarier and more interesting if a mild-mannered, nice guy that you like goes fucking crazy and tries to murder his family. That is way more scary than just a dick. You're just waiting for him to snap. And by the way, it doesn't take him that long to snap. You're only 1 month into this 5-month thing.
But remember, I don't know. Is it too early to throw a theory?
Go ahead.
Throw a theory. Throw a theory.
Yeah, sure.
If he is this cranky only after 1 month, and you know how it's like, okay, 2 years ago, he stopped drinking, or was it 3, because he abused Danny. It's like, okay, well, I'm never going to drink again because I don't want to do that again. And then he goes and he talks to the bartender. He's like, well, it's the worst 5 months of my life not drinking. So has he only stopped drinking since he's gotten to the hotel because he can't? And so now he's a cranky motherfucker and does... Okay, now going a little deeper. The sequel to this.
Okay. Well,
Oh, boy.
All right, go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
sequel
No,
to
go
this-
ahead. Go ahead.
The sequel
Ruin 2 movies at once. Go ahead.
Danny, who is grown in the sequel, kind of buries his shining ability through alcoholism. Jack was able to bury his shining ability when he was alcoholic, and now he's in the hotel, he can't drink, and now it's out. And now he gets to see the fucking ghosts and all this terror and horror, so it could be a more complicated situation.
But sorry, but isn't that isn't in that conception of it is that he's sort of this person who's struggling and it's not the hotel acting upon him?
Right.
In your conception of it, it's like it's delirium, it's the shakes, it's whatever, it's withdrawal from alcohol.
But it's also the hotel acting upon him because the shining is back. It's not held in with the alcoholism, so he can see the ghosts and all this shit that's going on. This haunted character that is the hotel is affecting him more because he's not drinking.
But he is drinking. He gets served a drink.
That's
a ghost. It's a ghost drink, and he's not drinking. They say very clearly we've removed all the alcohol from the hotel.
Okay. All right. So it's ghost alcohol.
Ghost.
It's
Maybe
ghost
it's even
alcohol.
stronger.
And so, sorry, so you're saying that he has been drinking this entire time till he gets to the hotel,
Well,
knowing that there's no booze at the hotel.
If the time sequence matches.
I don't buy it, because Wendy definitely believes that he has not had a drink since he had the incident with Danny years before, right? So he's that good at hiding his alcoholism.
Why not?
Okay, so
People
then why
have
is it
done
a
it
problem
before.
that he drinks then?
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's more of a problem that he doesn't drink if he acts like that.
I guess you're right.
Okay, wait. Do you want to briefly go through? I've basically divided the whole movie into 3 little chunks.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's not a ton of plot, but basically,
Hold on, go
Can
ahead,
I
Rachel.
address
Go
the
ahead.
fact that we're about to start pouring in sweat because we dressed for the cold weather of The Shining? So just brace yourself for some sweat.
Oh, you mean this is a costume?
Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
getting
we're
into
getting
it,
into
babe.
spirit.
Look at that
I'm sorry.
background.
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, so it's hot. It's hot here. So, all right, you got Jack. That's Jack Nicholson. Convenient. You got Wendy. You got their son Danny. They moved from the East Coast to Boulder. Jack takes a job as this winter caretaker for this hotel called the Overlook Hotel. It's in the Rocky Mountains. It closes every winter. Why does it close? Because there's only one road, and it gets snowed in, and it's too expensive to clear anything. So they just close the thing, and they leave one person to take care of it. When he's doing the interview, he finds out there was a guy, Charles Grady, who was the caretaker about a decade before, and whoops, he killed his wife and his 2 young daughters in the hotel. Whoopsie. They say that isolation can make a man go crazy. After 1 month, you fucking loser.
It's like literally the first snowfall as well, because there's like a nice shot. It's like, I don't know.
Well, not to jump too far ahead when it goes 1 month later, the first scene is him eating eggs in his bed with his hands. He's eating eggs with his hands. That's the craziest thing that happens in this movie. Give him a fork, Wendy. No wonder he's so angry at you.
By the way, Wendy, he is hired for the job, but she does all the work. All the work.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Including cook food for everybody.
He's a real dick, that Jack.
All right, so then back in Boulder, Danny has a premonition and a seizure. A doctor comes to visit. We find out that Jack accidentally dislocated Danny's shoulder during a drunken rage. It's honestly one of the nicest stories ever told about how one's husband injures their son because he's a dangerous alcoholic.
I don't know. It's probably happens more often than you think. Like you're trying to make your husband out to not be a piece of shit that he is.
Oh yeah, I know, but she tells it as like a story like, and since then he hasn't drank anymore. Like it's like a cute little story.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene from Duvall specifically. Just the way she explains it, and just the sort of the covering up that she does, and she just, it felt like she was covering for him, and that she herself is afraid of the guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then they drive to the Overlook, and they get a tour of the hotel, and then the Overlook's head chef, Dick Halloran, Scatman, informs Danny, their son, of a telepathic ability that the two share, which is called the Shining. And Halloran tells Danny the hotel also has a shine because some bad things have happened there. And he says, don't go to room 237, thereby guaranteeing he will go to room 237. These are the opening moments of The Shining before we hit the 1 month later title card, basically.
Right.
Now, I didn't really say much there, but that's, a good half hour of screen time there. What did you think of the opening moments, JD?
There's a slow burn on this movie. It takes a long time for things to get going. It seems mundane. I don't like this guy off the bat. Again, I watched this movie for the first time on a Betamax, which is the best at the time. But now I'm watching it in 4K, and the visuals
so stunning
are a goddamn feast for the eyes. Like everything.
Okay. Someone loves a Steadicam.
I do
actually.
actually.
It's the art. Every shot is so beautiful. Like, I mean, I don't know. He's rolling on that trike, isn't he? Like in the first scene at some point, he's doing
the big wheel. Yeah.
It's just so beautiful watching him go down the rugs, and even like the sound. There's so much music throughout it that is so scary, even though there's nothing happening that's scary. But then there's the times when there's no music, when he is going over the rug and the hard floor, that it's just hypnotizing listening to the texture change. Yeah, it's sensationally overwhelming,
I guess, but also, the aerial shots are spectacular, and they would have done them with a helicopter, so even more impressive because we're sort of accustomed to drone shots now. But oh my God, how long does it take to drive to the Overlook Hotel?
Well, we need to show you how long the road is, how much they are stranded and isolated.
At a certain point, I thought the Apple screensaver had kicked in.
That would be a cool Apple screensaver.
You know what? I was very impressed in the beginning shots when it gets to the hotel. Jason's like, oh, wow. You can see the blades of the helicopter at the very top of the shot. I'm like, you are gifted.
Well, you're supposed to be looking at the hotel, and it's a great shot of the hotel.
That was a blooper. JD said to himself at 4 years old when he watched it. I hope they invent something called IMDB, and I hope there's a section called goofs and gags and bloopers. I will submit that.
This looks really cool. Like, the hotel looks really cool. And it was just a set, apparently. Like, so
yes,
everything is designed. Like, it looks amazing, but you do feel like you're watching, like a real estate porn.
Oh, well, he sure did a beautiful job. Pink and gold are my favorite colors.
The first 20 minutes of the show is like, love it or list it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Are you kidding? Like, it was so cool to see all of that furniture, all of that art from that time period. I could have watched it even longer.
Okay, well, it's a horror movie, man. Like,
the Jack is a prick from the start. Like I said, it was really saving me on this second rewatch. Now, did you know that one of Stephen King's complaints was the hiring of Jack Nicholson himself? Because he said Jack Nicholson just did, he's done One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. You have Jack Nicholson in this movie. From the very jump, people are going to be like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Right.
And I really did notice it a lot more this time that, he's just, like, if you see him in the scene where he's talking to the manager about getting the job at the Overlook Hotel, just charming, you know? Then he gets him, calls Wendy, and he's like, yeah, fuck you, we're moving. Shut up, bitch. So
I don't know.
You're like, this guy is duplicitous and two-faced, as many alcoholics are, right?
Yeah.
Like, so now off the bat, JD, I had a directing question for you, because obviously there's a legendary director on this podcast, Jason Doyle. Yes. How would you direct a child where they had to talk to their finger that was representing an imaginary friend, basically?
Yeah. I mean, look, that was something that the kid brought in, apparently. Like, he did it in his audition. That's what I read. That Kubrick just loved it.
Huh.
But yeah.
So what, he was just going to have it just do it in a different voice?
Yeah.
But he brought the finger thing
in? Which is how I would have done it like that. Just change your voice. Like,
that's
in
very
the audition.
Creative.
But the kid did the finger. That's the legend. I don't know if it's actual fact.
Ooh, print the legend, baby.
Kids are brilliant.
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah.
Well, yeah. JD was a better critic at 4 years old than Roger Ebert.
No, and the kid, I believe his name is Danny as well. His real name. Yeah. He was awesome in it, and it was his only thing he ever did.
Yeah, maybe he was traumatized forever. I never want to act again. That was horrible.
No, didn't he grow up to be Ewan McGregor?
Wow, can you imagine?
Any experience with imaginary friends? Rachel, you've had experience with aggressive alcoholics. What about imaginary friends?
I mean, I did grow up as an only child. Played a lot by myself.
Wasn't even creative enough to imagine a second person with her.
There was a lot of animals and some cousins now. No.
Yeah.
And JD, you didn't have one?
No. A lot of people I imagined were my friends, but no imaginary
real people.
Real people. I'd be like,
okay.
I bet we could be friends.
Oh, you're adorable.
Just get to know me.
How about you? Did you?
Lawrence Gowan and I are very close.
Yeah.
I didn't have one. I had a lot of superstitions. Like the direction I fell asleep in my bed, always facing the wall, never facing the window.
What's
things
the reasoning
like
there? Just you don't want to see anything.
The window would,
you?
People would be coming in from the window and stuff. Yeah.
And you just don't want to know about it.
I'm confused.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, it was more of a if. Like, me seeing it brings it into existence.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It was my own shining.
Wait, that has to do with you having an imaginary friend? I'm a little confused. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that I had an imagination. My nephew had imaginary friends.
Oh, okay.
Very funny to just asking him about them.
Oh, that's fun.
They, but they didn't. He had two imaginary friends, but they didn't know each other. Oh. Like, the two imaginary friends didn't know each other. You'd always be like, "Oh, are they hanging out together?" He's like, they don't know each other. Why would they be hanging out together? It's like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of the MCU, man? If you're going to sell this imaginary world, you got to make it all connect.
That's right. There's got to be crossover at some point.
So we find out, so they get to the hotel. Here's a question. If you're going to leave someone in charge of this giant hotel, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of things could go wrong. Because I believe in the book, the hotel blows up at the end because they neglect the gauges and the pressure and all that.
Oh, is
be
that
wrong,
what
that's-
happens in the end?
Yeah, it
In the
blows
book.
up.
I know
Burns
it
down.
burns down. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Why do you do it on the day everyone's moving out? And what? How much time? They gave them like an hour to figure out how everything fucking works.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Wendy's got a clipboard out like she works at like a nuclear plant. She's like studying gauges and like voltage meters, and she's like writing things. I'm like, you had maybe 4 minutes to like there's a scene when the guy's like pointing at the snowcat and he's like you know how to drive a car? And they're like, yeah. He's like, all right, you could drive you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball,
Yeah.
you could drive a car, you could drive a snowcat. Now, as I said, you will be snowed in. So if a true emergency happens, that snowcat is your one lifeline to getting out. But just pointing at it from a distance, I feel like you've got
Yeah,
it
you got it.
on the snowcat.
You work a clutch, you can work the cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So did that not jump out at you that they should have had more time, especially when they weren't like running around saying goodbye to everyone as they were leaving?
Well, how long was the movie? Do we need the extra?
Yeah, you're right.
No, I say you bring them there with a week left so they could see how it runs normally. I mean, that to me is it's an extra week of pay. Well, what's the problem?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I do want the HR scene where they're filling out paperwork, going through orientation, watching
That's
the cheesy
right.
video.
We all wanted
I
that.
want
We
that.
all
Yeah,
wanted
I
that.
want to
Yes.
know that they know how to operate all of the machinery at the hotel.
How
it's
can
only reasonable.
How can Kubrick make paperwork beautiful and artsy?
I want them to fail the snowcat in-car test.
Run over.
You didn't signal when you were going into the hedge, the maze there.
Have you ever tried to parallel park a snowcat? It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not
Now, we
easy
know
at
there's no booze at this hotel. What there are, though, thankfully, are cigarettes. How many, knowing they would be snowed in and couldn't leave, how many cigarettes did they bring? I have a guess.
Oh, interesting.
Do you see all the bags they brought? How many of those?
They
were
brought a
full?
lot of luggage. I think one of those is filled with cartons of cigarettes because I think they had to have at least 100 packs each. If it's 6 months, I think, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
November, December, January, February, March, April,
May.
and
So
then May.
five
Okay,
months.
so that's 5 months. No, that's 6 months. November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 6 months.
Okay.
I just
Don't worry.
counted 5. Okay, but anyway,
I believe
they
you.
open in
counted-
May. They close at the end at October 30th.
Right. So that's all of November, all of December, all of January, all of February, all of March, all of April.
Yeah, you're right. 6 months. Sorry,
6 months. Okay.
I ran
That's
out of
180
fingers.
days.
His gift
180
wasn't
days.
math.
Do you think they're smoking a full pack a day?
Yeah, easily. I think they're both 2 packs a day.
You think they're both? Okay, so my numbers are not all wrong.
I
then.
mean,
So you're saying that's 360 times 2 is there's 720 packs of cigarettes.
well, every downtime, even when they were eating lunch at the beginning of the movie, Shelley Duvall is smoking a cigarette while eating a sandwich. So, and this hotel is all downtime, so all they're doing is smoking cigarettes.
I bet that
Yeah.
storage space has cartons of cigarettes.
Yeah, it has to. They're dipping in.
It's part of the deal.
There's so much storage, so much stuff left. I mean, not just the dry storage and the freezer. The freezer's fine, whatever. You know, when Dick is giving them a tour, but just general shots. Like they had like pallets of 7-Up stacked to the ceiling.
Don't forget the Tang.
And they could just take it all. What a dream.
I assume, but I would also assume that they would sort of let the supplies dwindle as we're getting into September, October, right? I mean, that's a lot of
yeah,
supplies.
like you're saying, why do they have so much stuff?
Yeah.
left
See
there?
all that
That's a good
meat?
question.
Exactly.
Too much meat. Because what if there's a power outage? Which is not unreasonable,
Did
right?
they have generators?
Probably. Did they show them how to use them? No. They just pointed. They were like, all right, in that corner, there's some generators. Now, if the power goes out, which is very likely considering the snow and that no one will be able to repair the line, you'll have about 9 hours before that freezer full of meat starts rotting. But I'm not going to show you how to use those because I just pointed them out to you.
That's
so that should be enough.
Right.
A lot of meat. And I don't really think they were using a lot of it. I don't know if Wendy didn't have a good searing game. She was cooking a lot of the what's it called? The fruit salad.
She was
Just
opening
pouring that
cans.
out.
Cocktail. Did you see the size of that can of fruit cocktail for 3 people? ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know what? That was the time where you ate out of cans. I know I ate out of a lot of cans growing up.
But, oh my God. I mean, they're not getting any fresh produce at all.
Yeah, they're fine. They look tasty to begin with.
Well, there's literally a shitting joke in it. Shout out to Is This Good? You know, they were like, he was like, here's some prunes. You got to stay regular.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only way you're going to stay
Thanks,
regular.
chef. Thanks, chef.
So by this point, we've had the scene where Danny sits down with Halloran, who is the chef. He explains The Shining to him. I guess my question is, what is The Shining? Because it's sort of everything and it's sort of nothing.
Okay. Well, you got an explanation? Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, if the internet is correct, I've got a few sources. Communicating telepathically, seeing the past and future, but obviously it intertwines with talking to ghosts and spirits somehow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of things, is my point. It's a little bit of like, you could see the past, but you could also see the future. But is the thing you see in the future, is that a definite going to happen, or is that just a thing that you could be trying to prevent? Halloran's like, some people have it and they don't know they have it. Some people have it, but they don't know the things they're seeing are because of it. Some people have it a lot. Some people have it a little.
It's like the Force, man.
They're on the spectrum.
Okay.
Places can have The Shining, not just people. Like the hotel has The Shine.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, and this is kind of why I don't love supernatural stuff, because I always feel better in a movie when something is explained, and then there can be a twist to that explanation. It can be like, wait, but you explained it this way. It's like, well, I was crossing my fingers behind my back, and that, whatever. Like, if there's a twist on the end, then that's fine. But like, I don't love things that are so central to a movie where it's like, it's this, but it's also that. But when it's like, and then at the end of the movie, Shelley Duvall starts seeing ghosts in the hotel. So does that mean she has The Shining? Like, it seems pretty common too. Danny has it. Jack has it. Wendy has it. Halloran has it.
Yeah.
Halloran's grandmother has it.
Yes.
Did Halloran's mother? Is it genetic? Like, a lot of people have this.
But Dick Halloran has a very, very mild version of it, because for a psychic, he definitely didn't see that axe coming at him.
We'll get there. I'd like to talk about that when it happens. Okay, 1 month later, that didn't take long. Jack's mental health has deteriorated. He's got writer's block. He's prone to violent outbursts. He dreams of killing his family. Jack, very honest. You can't take that away from him.
He's his authentic self there.
I've been having dreams about murdering you with an axe.
But he seemed very upset about it, so that's something. That's
Did he?
not nothing. Yeah, he was.
He was kind of like,
No, he was sobbing and going bananas.
When he had that nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sorry, you're just reminding me something I forgot to say in the first chunk of Jack being an asshole from the beginning. I didn't really grok this the first time, but when they're driving to the Overlook and she asks, like, is this where the Donner Party was? And Dan's like, what's the Donner Party, Dad? It's like, they all killed each other and then they ate them.
He didn't say it like that.
Yeah, he did, but it's even worse because he's smiling to himself, like bemused, and he's like, "You see, Wendy, he heard about it on the TV, so it's all fine." It all starts going bad. Danny's having frightening visions. He's seeing the murdered Grady girls. He's lured to 237, the very place he was not supposed to be lured to. Wendy finds him. He's got signs of like bruises on his neck. Jack investigates. There's a female ghost in the room, a hot female ghost,
For a moment.
but then an ugly female ghost. That's what happens in the horror world. You get tempted with a siren-esque woman, and then it turns out she's a real uggo on the inside.
Wow.
And now Jack starts drinking again, served by the ghost bartender Lloyd. He meets another server named Delbert Grady, and then Grady says to Jack that Danny has contacted Halloran for assistance telepathically, and Jack must, quote, correct his wife and child, just like he did. Even though he doesn't say he's the caretaker that murdered, even though that caretaker's name was Grady. This guy's not so related, but we'll come to that. Rachel, I'm interested to hear your theories about who this person is exactly. And have they all always existed in the hotel? My overarching question here, as we get into the craziness of it all, I asked it a little bit off the top, JD, is this movie scary?
No, absolutely not. For me.
Rachel disagrees. Okay.
I find it very hard to believe that you do not find the isolation in the middle of nowhere scary. Because this man is a city boy, and the idea of him living in a rural town, he wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, not a town, but like...
You're talking about me.
You. Like, living in my house growing up, he would not have liked that. Like, there was not a whole lot of neighbors around.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right about that. But a 5-month or 6-month gig at the Overlook Hotel, I would do it in a second.
By yourself?
Not by myself. I'd be with my family. That's the gig.
Yes, you, Rachel, you are going to be there too.
That's right. You have to be there. Somebody's got to do all the work.
How are you with gauges?
I do not believe for a second that you would go down to the boiler room by yourself to check it, and we are up on another level, and you wouldn't be fucking terrified.
No, I would take one of the boys with me.
Okay, well,
one of those big strong boys.
Exactly. It is scary.
It's creepy. It's a cool setting for a film for sure. But I was not at any time. I was more jump scared from Tuesday.
Jason, again, you saw Jaws when you were 5 in the theater.
So maybe I'm dead inside from seeing Jaws. Like, Jaws was fucking scary.
So nothing else.
Poltergeist, speaking of Indian burial grounds, that was scary. That movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, well, I think it's valid to say you're not that scared of what is considered one of the best horror movies of all time.
No, well,
again, I'm scared of everything, and this didn't scare me. It's suspenseful at times.
Sure.
The intro of them driving, I know JD said it's too long. It's suspenseful. Danny driving his big wheel. What's around the corner? Suspenseful. It's kind of where it ends for me. I honestly think you will find this movie scariest if you had an alcoholic dad. Just seeing like this two-faced asshole of like, don't disturb your father. Oh, can I go in and get my truck? No. Oh, daddy's working so hard. Like Jack is this tortured genius, or acting like a tortured genius.
But is it? But if you had seen that movie when you were a teen, would you have?
Well, that's
I was scared.
Arching
at that
question to ask. I think I would have
age.
loved this movie a lot more, because the truth is, when I was younger, there was no greater time for me to be influenced by the classics. Like, if someone tells me this is a classic, I'm not questioning it. I'm just being like, this is a classic.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm watching like the whole director's filmography and going, fucking crushed it every time. And I think I would have been more scared as a kid. So I would have a completely different opinion of this film, which is why it's interesting to watch things a second time and figure out like, well, I know I didn't love it, but why didn't I love it?
But also, all like movies have been amped up so much and so much scarier now than they would have back then. Like, he was breaking ground doing this stuff.
I
most
disagree.
Suspenseful film of all time is Rear Window, Rachel. So you struck out on that.
Yeah, I mean,
his name's Alfred Hitchcock, and it hasn't gotten any scarier since then.
That was definitely before this.
You're
movie.
100% right, Matt. And again, I named movies that are of the same era that I did find scary.
What is that movie, Centipede?
The Human Centipede?
Okay. Never seen it.
I've never seen it.
It sounds scary.
Well, that's body horror.
Yeah,
that sounds scary.
I agree with you, Matt. I don't know. Like, from the first time I saw this movie to today, literally, I've read glowing articles about this. I've listened to glowing podcasts about particles.
Glowing particles.
Glowing particles, guys. I've got The Shining. I've listened to glowing podcasts. It's hard to find people saying bad things about The Shining, and it's kind of like Emperor's New Clothes for me, because I'm just like, okay. I did see an interview with Steven Spielberg, talking about, I did not like it when I first watched it, and then Stanley and him had a conversation about it. I can't remember what was said, but basically, Spielberg didn't like that Jack Nicholson was cast or something like that. But anyways, it was, when I was watching the interview, I was like, he still doesn't like The Shining. Like, he's saying, it's growing on me and blah, blah, blah. But he's just like, cowing to the crowd, I think. He's just like, okay, everybody says it's a classic, so I guess it's a classic. And I don't want to say anything bad about my friend Stanley Kubrick, who I agree is a genius. I mean, so yeah, it's hard to sit here and say I didn't like it and I didn't find it scary, but I really didn't.
I didn't find it when I was a teenager, I found it very scary. This time, I was just so into how beautiful it was and how, I don't know, they were just so good. The acting.
From scaredy cat to cinephile, the Rachel Doyle story.
Yeah.
But even you said, like, you were mesmerized by the trike rolling around the hallways. I mean, yeah, it was like almost meditative.
It was.
Like, it wasn't exactly like the idea is to build tension.
It looks so
and the
fun.
tension's there for sure, but really you just like, get lulled in this sort of like hypnotic, like carpet, hardwood.
And the carpet is so beautifully patterned, and the wallpaper is incredible.
Okay, well, like look at some the Apple screensaver. It's great.
Tell me you don't want to go on a big wheel through a fucking gigantic hotel.
I'd
after
love
watching
to.
I mean, that would be sick. That'd be sick. They should have been having a great time. That's the problem. Well, okay, another question. Do you feel different about this movie post-COVID? And I'm sort of half joking, but like when I was watching, I was like, everyone, when you're watching this movie, maybe for the first time, you'd be going, wow, cabin fever, staying in a place, isolated, you can't leave, you're only there with 2 other people. It would make a man go crazy. And then we all had to do it. And it's like, oh yeah, well, we did for a lot longer than 1 month, actually, when he went fucking insane.
We had a lot more to do,
not
to be
like
fair.
that. I mean, we had...
So you're saying if he had a modem, he would have been fine?
Yeah. No, 100%.
No, because he had The Shining. I'm sure of it.
It's true. It's 2 packs a day. How much pornography is in that letter?
Well, there's a lot of porn hanging in the walls there. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness, that shot with Chef Dick. Chef Dick.
Oh,
when
now
he's,
we're calling him Chef Dick now that we're talking about all the porn on his walls.
and he's lying in bed, and you just see his feet, and then it goes up, and there's a sexy nude, and then it turns around and goes up, and there's another sexy nude above his head. I'm like, this is so artsy.
And he was willing to leave that behind to go rescue Danny. Anyways, I mean, honestly, it's a question. Like, this movie, part of it does rely on your willingness to believe that, like, the Overlook Hotel is a symptom or is a symbol of going crazy now, right? Of this isolation, of being blocked off from the world. And I don't know. I just don't believe it. Like, I know the hotel is supposed to be malevolent in some sense, less so in the movie. But it's more Jack that himself brings the malevolence.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they could have had probably a pretty nice time there. That's all I'm saying.
It would have been
right.
it might have been more scary to watch, like during COVID. It might have been really kind of immersive.
Well, I was in a 1-bedroom apartment, not a giant hotel. Now, this brings up another question I had. JD, you're a writer, let's say. You're Jack in this scenario.
Okay,
Would you have put your office in that giant room?
Great question.
There's no doors.
I know.
You can't lock a door. You're disturbed. There's, noises coming from the hallways, in theory.
I mean, you are alone in the hotels, technically. I probably would, actually. I like that room a lot. I would feel like I'd want to see some of the scenery, though, no?
There's giant windows there.
Yeah, I guess.
He had that fun maze to look at. Little giant.
Yeah, well.
So pretty. And he got
the foreboding maze.
And he got to play ball against the Indian
That's true.
artwork.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Just whipping that ball.
Whipping it. Oh,
By the way, if you want to see this room, the Ahwahnee in Yosemite is what this room is based. I know the hotel is, or the hotel in the book's in Colorado. I think the exteriors of this are in Oregon, I want to say.
Yeah.
But the design, the room that he's writing in is on a soundstage, and it is based off the Ahwahnee Hotel. And I did not know that. And I walked into the Ahwahnee last year when we went.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit, this looks like The Shining. And then I Googled
cool.
and I was
Oh, wow.
this is the basis.
Well,
I think they even have red doors on the elevators, too.
Apparently, when Stephen King, he was inspired to write this when he went to Boulder, Colorado, and stayed at a place that was kind of the same idea.
Yeah, and that's another reason he was pissed. He was like, you got to set this in Colorado. And Kubrick was like, wherever it was, he was like, it's not as much snow. It's not isolated enough. It's not believable.
He didn't
don't
really
know.
want much input from King.
I know.
He did not.
Steve, maybe you take a seat on this one, Steve. Maybe you go back to writing that book about an angry dog.
Hold on. Cujo was not just angry, okay?
What was wrong with him then?
He had
Was-
rabies.
He's just mad.
That's it?
He's
Was
just
it
mad.
like supernatural rabies?
I don't think so. I think it was just literally had rabies.
That's it?
Yeah, and in the book, he's not a Saint Bernard. One of the cutest dogs ever. It's like a snarling, like pit bull type beast.
Really?
Okay.
I believe so.
And so I always assumed that it arose from the Pet Cemetery.
No, that's totally different.
That's a good
books.
connection.
Oh, he wrote Pet Cemetery. He's like, well, got to find a place to bury Cujo.
Pet Cemetery, many years later, I believe. But yeah, it's a good theory though.
That's funny.
And we're getting in this a lot of like Jack as self-loathing writer, which is again the other way that I really started to enjoy this. The idea of her walking in and going like, "Did you get a lot of work done today?" and him just being like, "Ah!" because there's no other profession where you can ask that question. And like, for instance, if he was there and he was making bracelets, let's just say. And she'd be like, he'd be there making the bracelets, and then he'd have 10 bracelets stacked up, and she'd be like, did you do a little work done? And he'd be like, yeah, I did 10 bracelets. But sometimes being a writer means sitting in that room, staring at the page, and you get jack shit. You have nothing to show for your time that day.
Yeah.
And hearing, did you get a lot of work done today? In a sunny voice is an annoying question. Now, so annoying that you should chase that person with a baseball bat? And later with an axe?
Yeah, in this scenario, I do believe it's a fair question because she, again, is doing all the work in the hotel. His one job is to write this book. By the way, he's not even a writer. Like, he's not a writer.
He's terrible.
He's a
He's a typist. He's good at typing all those pages.
Yeah, he's very good at typing.
And do you remember when she's like, why don't we go for a walk? No, I've got a lot of work to do. And as soon as she walks out the door, he's throwing a fucking ball against the wall.
Well, we've all been there. In all seriousness, I identified with this.
Yeah,
We've
that part
all
I
been
get.
there.
She's going in the maze, and he's like looking over the maze. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Visually, for sure.
Visually, I'm not saying it wasn't cool.
No.
Okay, he's bad. He's not good at writing. Nothing's going to get him there.
Yeah.
But the idea that all I need is isolation,
Yeah.
peace and quiet. Stop bothering me. And if you do all these things, I'm going to write the great American novel, you know? And it was just because you walked in and said something to me, that disturbed me so much that now I cannot write anymore.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's a bad
like-
writer? Just because of the output that he gets at the end?
Well,
Maybe
yes.
that was the ghosts taking over him, and they screwed him up. He couldn't get his wonderful manuscript.
He reads to me as a failed artist.
He's not
like he was a teacher.
He's a teacher.
Stephen King was a teacher.
Okay, but this guy is not Stephen King.
Stephen King certainly wrote this character from a place of, I was a teacher, I've gotten writer's block before, I've been frustrated. And Stephen King had a family and was annoyed by them. This is Stephen King talking, not me talking. And there was this idea that like, fuck, the only thing between me and another great book is the fact that I have to be a dad and put my kid to bed right now.
Did you ever read the book On Writing that he wrote?
I did read that
It was
book.
so
yes.
good.
Not very scary.
Yeah, not scary at all.
He drank for a very long time, and then he stopped and realized he's a much better writer not drinking.
Right.
So, I don't know.
And that's probably why I think why he was frustrated, because obviously he sees himself in Jack the book version.
Oh, yeah.
This nice guy, teacher's just trying to make it. He's struggling with alcohol. Whereas the Jack Nicholson version is a psycho, really. Like,
Yeah.
I saw someone put it in the book, Jack is bad because he drinks, and in the movie, Jack drinks because he's bad.
Right.
So
That's
in
a
other
very
words, in
good
the
way of
Stephen
putting
King
it.
version, it's like, I was kind of a good guy. It's just alcohol had a bad effect on me.
And the spookies and the monsters are the bad characters in the book, not Jack.
That's why it's so much more interesting to me if you go with the Stephen King version. And I don't necessarily think that Kubrick had any obligation to stick with the book necessarily, but it would have been way more interesting to sort of explore Stephen King's fears of becoming a father, of not his father was an angry drunk apparently, or there was like he was an angry guy, I guess. So he was afraid of becoming his father, and just becoming a bad dad or a bad person, and just exploring the fear of that, and then the actual nightmare that you do become this, which is what happens to Jack in the story. And if he starts off again as being like a good guy with good intentions, and then does bad shit, that's scarier to me. More interesting.
Well, and there's way more depth to it. And Stephen King, I thought he did have a manuscript and he was supposed to be working with Kubrick, and Kubrick was like, "No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm writing my own thing."
Kubrick was rude about it. He was just like, "Well, Steve, The Shining is not exactly a literary masterpiece." I'm like, "Okay, fuck you, guy. Like, you're the one that decided to adapt it, right?" Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm sure Kubrick also identified with the frustrated artist point of it. I mean, even good artists are frustrated at times.
Absolutely.
Certainly. And I also, I kind of read it as, when you are at this place where you're like, fuck, I really want to do X is right, but I cannot do X, you don't want to be observed. You don't want to be observed failing. And being alone in the hotel is a perfect place for him to be. That's why he doesn't want to leave, I think. Is like, here he's a failure, but it doesn't matter because no one can see him be a failure. He could sit down he can do the cosplaying of writing, sit down at typewriter and clack away angrily, drink like Hemingway, and live out this fantasy. The only two people that can judge him or observe that he's not good at it are his wife and his son. But as long as he kills them, then, it'll be gravy, baby. Until May 1st, I guess, when he's like, oh, fuck, I forgot this was a hotel! He's going through the reservation books, like canceling everyone's. All right, so let's get to the final stretch of this movie. Wendy walks in. She finds Jack's manuscript. This is the famous part where it's just a stack of papers that says, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy," which is not in the book at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty iconic and not... you didn't come up with that, Stephen.
Okay.
Jack threatens her life. Wendy knocks him unconscious with a baseball bat. We mentioned that. She drags into the kitchen pantry. They can't leave, though. Her and Danny can't leave because Jack has sabotaged the hotel's radio and aforementioned Snowcat. Not that I'm confident they would have known how to drive it. Anyways, actually, they did know how to drive it in the end anyways. They drive Scatman Crothers' Snowcat. Danny says red rum repeatedly. Wendy sees it in the mirror, realizes, much like a 5-year-old JD, that it's just murder spelled backwards. Jack is freed by Grady. I mean, that's how I'm reading. I mean, the ghost frees him, right?
Yes.
And then he starts chasing his son and wife with an axe. Halloran, as we mentioned, he's gotten the GPS signals from the Overlook Hotel. He's like, whoa, they're in danger. He puts in a lot of effort only to literally walk in and get killed by an axe. And then Jack chases Danny through the hedge maze. Danny covers his tracks. Jack gets lost. He freezes to death. And Danny and Wendy get out of there on Halloran's Snowcat. And then the final piece of this, we get a slow shot pushing in on some framed photos in a hallway. And as we get closer, we see a picture. It's July 4th, 1921, and there's Jack smiling in a tuxedo in the front. Yeah. Again, in 1921, and this movie is much later, so it's not the same person, or is it?
Oh, well...
Do you have a theory on this, Rachel?
Well, we skipped over when you said you were asking me about my thoughts on Delbert, which is kind of related to that. Floating out there was a theory that Delbert was a predecessor of Charles, so he's really never left the hotel. You know how Jack's confused, like, wait, no, you're Charles or whatever. You're not Delbert. You're the one that killed your...
Right.
So it's like, what, reincarnation of all the characters that kind of go in
but
and out of
hold
the
on.
hotel?
But Charles Grady was...
The murderer.
But also the caretaker.
Yes.
So Charles was the caretaker. Delbert...
Could have been an ancestor.
Okay.
Yeah, could be.
Okay, how far let's assume that this takes place in 1980, right? Because that's when it came out. The hotel was built in 1907, right? So how many generations are we talking here?
Not that many.
Daddy?
Like 2 or 3.
Daddy?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Look, Delbert Grady is one of the best characters in this movie. I love this
100%.
scene in the bathroom. It is absolutely chill. It's the
In
most
the
chilling
red room.
in the red room. Yes,
The colors are just so
That's
punch you,
murder backwards.
yeah, Mordor.
punch you in
Interesting.
the
Mordor.
face
Shout out
colors.
to you, J.R.R.
Oh.
Tolkien.
Oh. JD, you know we're not allowed to talk about J.R.R.
Okay,
Tolkien.
I know. Sorry. Shout
Or
out
any of
to
the works he
Sarah.
produced.
Sarah's gonna come after us. Look, I love that scene. What's your name, Jeevesy? All that, like, did the sort of obsequious, like, butler, and then he turns, and he is like actually a scary character, like evil in his eyes. Like, that performance is incredible. But I don't fucking understand the Charles, the Delbert, the Jack being in the 1921 photo. I
But
honestly,
I'm saying that if he's his ancestor, that guy in the photo could be Jack's ancestor.
okay, like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, I think it's meant to be elliptical. I think there's something like evil reproduces over time. Like
Yeah.
we're time is a flat circle
Sure.
kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's infinite regression. We can't get out of it. If something's evil, it's evil, and it's just evil stacked on top of each other.
Well,
Evil what
trauma-
we did to Native Americans in this country. Then we built this thing on their burial ground.
Trauma
You know.
repeats itself.
Trauma repeats itself. Sure.
Okay, sure,
But yeah, but okay is my reaction. to it
yeah,
as well.
exactly. It's
Okay.
just like, all right, and the really the pardon the pun, but the linchpin or the turning point for me where they lose me is when the pin is taken out of that walk-in or the dry storage by a ghost. All of a sudden, the ghosts can be in the real world. All of a sudden.
Okay, well, no. Then let's take it back.
Okay,
let's
let's
take
step
it
it
back.
back. Let's step it
to
back.
where, if we are believing that when Danny goes into room 237, that if you have The Shining and you have it to that level, the trauma can actually touch you, where he got strangled in that room. If it wasn't Jack that
yeah.
did that to him,
Yeah.
then those ghosts can reach out to Jack's Shining and open a fucking door for him.
I guess, but if the ghosts can strangle Danny, which I assume that Danny is who they want,
Yes.
why not just strangle him in room 237 or whatever?
Because he got out.
He escaped from a ghost.
He escaped.
Wow.
Or there's the other theory that it was Jack in the room that did it to him.
Yeah. See, I also wonder that on a rewatch. I was like, Jack is abusive. We know this. He's starting to become unhinged. We see the bruise on Danny's shoulder. Oh, I'm going to rewatch it and figure out it must be Jack and there must be a clue.
But it's not.
But even Danny says it's not Jack. Like, why? So why would he lie?
Yeah, and
Because he's a child and he was threatened by his dad, maybe.
okay, but that
Yeah, but he just saw
scene,
boobies probably for the first time.
He got sucked in just like Jack did.
The succubus.
But doesn't, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to go back and watch this. Please, in the comments.
I don't want to go back.
In the comments,
make
just
me watch
feel
this.
free to correct me. But Jack has this terrible nightmare at the desk.
Yes.
And isn't that when Danny appears? Like, isn't that nightmare happening while...
Do you not remember how neglected we were as children? Danny could have been on his own for half a day in that hotel.
I'm sure he was.
That's parenting.
Because he
of
was
the
writing and the mother was checking the gauges.
parenting of the 70s and 80s was not like it is now.
Yeah, but...
You had a lot of time to yourself.
So
Jack,
what? Okay,
Jack
so
could have left.
So Jack
6 hours
strangles.
before,
He strangles Danny.
or he physically, sexually abused him.
Okay,
and
wow.
Oh, no.
roughed him up a bit. Roughed him up a bit, and then
See ya,
Danny,
monetization.
Danny went and hid in the fucking cabinet and shook himself out of like trauma. Got up and went to Mama.
Okay.
This was could have been hours later. Theories all over the place.
All right.
Theories all over the place. Yeah, I've seen it in that scene when he goes to get his truck and Jack's in the bed, kind of like looking into the middle distance, and he kind of sits on his lap. That also abuse occurred then.
Or not.
I don't know. I think. Look, this is Kubrick saying. I'm not going to read the whole quote, but he's basically saying that he did it on purpose, that you're supposed to feel like it's psychological at first. Like, oh, Jack must be imagining all these things because he's fucking insane, right? And he wants you to suspend your disbelief so you're not like, oh, it's just ghosts, and your mind turns off. But then there's the point where it's not, this is a quote again, it's not until Grady, the ghost of the former caretaker who axed to death his family, slides open the bolt of the larder door, allowing Jack to escape, that you are left with no other explanation but the supernatural. Now, I am going to make a note. I can't remember if that's a direct quote from Kubrick or someone paraphrasing what he said.
Okay.
But I agree, yeah. I was like, I don't like that he opens the bolt.
Well, there's a few different sites out there that I was looking at, and one in particular, was it called High Spoilers or something? Anyway, it's like got all these pictures of the sets, and they're like, this is wonky. So they take a picture of where the cold storage is, and they're like, there's 2 doors there. He could have come out of a second door that's attached to that. I mean, people are...
Okay,
yeah.
but they did.
In the Fresh Prince, there's stairs in both rooms, but if one staircase goes this way and the other staircase goes that way, I saw that too. It drives me nuts. Like, this part of film, I hate, where they're like, one person comes out and is like, I've done my PhD analyzing the architecture of the Overlook Hotel, and you see this room has a window, so therefore this room facing this way should also have a window, but it doesn't, thereby showing an inconsistency. And then someone else will come and be like, don't you see? This is supernatural. The hotel is evil. It's not supposed to make logical sense to the world.
It keeps moving.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
I'm like,
again,
actually, what probably happened is they set this up on a soundstage and didn't fucking think in the 1 year of pre-production they had exactly which way all the windows faced. And if it was expedient to do something, they just did and didn't realize that nerds would exist.
Well, there's also something saying that Kubrick would just keep moving shit around, fucking with people. Like, it was going to be more confusing for the viewer if there was a chair behind Jack, and the next scene there isn't a chair behind Jack, and then people
not
were like,
the next scene, the next shot. Like, it just
so continuity jumps,
continuity errors all over the place. But again, it's like,
Are
are
you
they
sure?
continuity errors or are they
on purpose?
On purpose. But if they're actually continuity errors, and then Kubrick just gets to say, well, it's the occult, you know?
How could he be like...
So you're saying the blades of the helicopter were there on purpose?
That's right.
How could you be that meticulous with retakes but not continuity errors?
Fair. I'm not saying... Look. Kubrick is a smart guy.
Obviously.
Let's call him a genius. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that everything that happens that you see on screen is on purpose, right? Fine. Like, is it disorienting to see furniture that was there and then all of a sudden wasn't there? Yeah, it is. It has a subconscious effect. Is there an incredible amount of subtext in this movie? Absolutely. Did I understand any of it on the first and second watch? I did not. I did not get any of the...
And you do now?
Well, not really. You know, I don't think anybody... There's no consensus on this movie.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And, which is kind of the fun of it, which makes me very reluctant to say that The Shining is a bad movie because people love it so much. And there's a lot of joy that's been extracted from this film. But... The main problem I have with this movie is that I think that it's the same thing that was wrong with the Joker, which was, hey, let's just put a bunch of cool shit on screen and freaky shit, you know, like blood coming out of the elevator and, ooh, twins, they're creepy, you know, and...
It is.
You sound like you're doing a Tim Robinson sketch.
But the difference.
And then donkey dicks fly out of the walls.
Right. That's right. Oh, and you know what? Let's have Jack. He's reading a Playgirl magazine while he's waiting to talk to the bosses. You know, it's just like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess. What am I supposed to take from
Would
this?
even like the biggest asshole waiting for an interview have a fucking porn mag in their hands?
Why not? It might have been in the lobby, right?
Oh my God, no way!
Yeah,
it's not a
Overlook
garage.
Hotel seems like conservative.
Yeah, it's not a garage with
institution.
Yeah.
Okay, so we discussed the end. Any notes on the most iconic scene, or at least the scene like you've seen, even if you haven't seen this movie? Jack hammering through the door with his axe, putting his face through it, and saying that famous TV slogan, "Did I do that?"
Actually, I would have almost preferred if he had said that.
Now, how does apparently Jack improvised "Here's Johnny."
Yeah.
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 Does it work for you?
Nope. It doesn't
No,
work.
right?
It doesn't work. I'm sorry, guys. It doesn't work.
It's just sort of random when you know. It's almost better if you're young enough watching this now that you don't know that Johnny Carson existed and Ed McMahon existed.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny. It actually defangs it for me. I don't know.
It was before his time. That's a song? No, Where's Johnny? What's the song? Where's Johnny?
Who's Johnny?
Who's Johnny?
Who's Johnny?
She said. Oh, okay, never
Smiled
mind.
in that special way. That would have been good if you'd said
I know a lot of songs about Johnny, but I don't know that one.
Oh, really?
No. I know Johnny Angry Johnny. I know Are You Jimmy Ray? Are You Johnny Ray?
Oh,
Who Wants to
Yeah,
Know?
that's a good one.
Remember that?
That's
Classic?
a good one.
Of
Did you
course.
say that's a good one?
Yes, of course.
That was around the same time as the Scatman, actually.
Yeah. You're right.
So that scene, that was the 127 takes too. Like he broke how many doors?
60. But yeah. He broke
Jesus.
60 doors.
And apparently he was a volunteer firefighter, so he really had the technique down pat.
Okay.
Jack was a volunteer firefighter?
Apparently, so he had the technique. That's what I've seen.
Why would it take 60 doors then? What is the problem here?
Hey, it's got to be perfect.
Do you think he went to an axe range? You know, like how people, like an actor today will go to a gun range. And they're like, he really got into the part. He really wanted to feel like when he was holding that gun that he was a 15-year FBI vet.
I would like to see some of the other takes. What other lines did he say when he stuck his head through that door? You know, but yeah.
Don't have a cow, man.
Well, it would have to be something of the time, you know, like dynamite. You know,
right. What you talking about, Willis?
yeah. I mean that, but it's.
Oh, what you talking about, Wendy?
What you talking about, Wendy? Yeah.
What you talking about, Wendy? Oh, chills.
That makes just as much sense as here's Johnny. I mean,
Yeah.
but anyways,
So this is
good shot,
1980. What's? I mean, it's really, I guess, what's late 70s on TV. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you-
he could have said, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," you know, or something. I don't know.
What's that movie with that superhero that you still like? We bought the movie and it's so terrible. The blonde.
the blonde.
He's got blonde hair and he's a fucking superhero.
No idea.
He has a
Whoa,
song.
Rachel, you should have told us we were doing trivia.
Yes.
Blonde man from 70s who's a superhero.
80 flies through. He's every one of us. See.
Superman.
No.
What? Keep going.
Mighty Mouse.
He's every one of us. That's part of the song. Isn't it?
Oh, Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. Jesus.
Yeah, if he said Flash.
There we go. That took a long time to get there. I'm terrible. Sorry.
Worth it, though. Worth it.
Totally worth it.
Okay, so let me ask you. Well, Rachel, I'll start with you.
Uh-huh.
Is this bad?
Oh well. First of all, wait. Do not. We can't get to this yet. Did you know about the deleted scene?
Oh boy. No,
The deleted
you know
scene
what?
at the end. Yeah,
I'm gonna put my foot down here.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't in the movie. He cut it out of the movie, so it's not part of the movie.
Okay, he cut a scene where there's a scene where Wendy and
I
Danny
put
are
my
in a
foot
hospital.
down. Go ahead.
It was like I feel like they should release another version because it's like choose your own adventure. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
So they're in a hospital, and then I think it's the manager from the Overlook Hotel basically tells them that Jack's body was never found, which we had seen frozen,
Yeah.
which brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And
It was frozen. Why was it not found?
Right, but it could be. Is this all in Wendy's head? Was Jack never there?
Rips microphone cord out of laptop and slams it shut. I didn't get to the fucking 90th minute of this podcast for you to tell me it's all fucking made up.
Was she fleeing an abusive husband for this job?
I mean, to be
Well,
honest,
he was an
crazy?
abusive husband.
Right, but maybe this was all in her head, and she ended up killing
interesting.
Chef Dick
Why would she kill Chef Dick?
because she's lost her mind.
Gave her son ice cream.
I know,
And not just
right?
any ice cream, the exact ice cream he asked for. Now, thankfully, he asked for chocolate and not like gold medal ribbon.
Yeah.
Hard to find.
Jumbo
But
Gum and fudge.
that was a funny scene too. And he's like, "Oh, Doc," and she's like, "How you know we call him Doc?" "Oh, I must have heard you say it." "That's funny. I don't remember calling him Doc." "Oh, I think you must have." "Oh, okay. Like,
Okay,
I couldn't
then.
tell, like, did he like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said that and was trying to cover it up? Or he was generally didn't know that he
Right.
shouldn't have said that. I was kind of, couldn't tell how he was playing that scene, old Scatman.
Do you also...
All right, Rachel,
wait,
you
wait,
don't think
wait,
this is
wait.
bad. No, what?
Do you also... Remember in that cutscene, Ullman visits her in the hotel and gives Danny the ball.
This is the manager of the hotel.
The manager of the hotel,
yes,
Stuart Ullman.
gives him the ball.
So maybe he was there the whole time as well.
Yeah, I don't care. So,
No?
Like, seriously.
Maybe
he's
he
the
rolled
only
ball.
one that has access to a tennis ball?
All right,
Maybe,
all right.
You know,
We can
maybe
move on
Bjorn
now.
Borg was training there, and he left the tennis ball.
That was actually
So many possibilities.
All right, I'm done.
Okay, so
John
answer the
McEnroe was
question.
also angry.
Was this? Back to the question?
like,
Is this bad?
Yeah, is it bad?
No.
No. That's great.
That's it.
That's it. No, definitely not. There's too many good things about it, especially at the time that he was doing things that other people were doing. He was doing different things with lighting. Like horror movies were all very dark, and most of this movie is all very lit. And you really
true.
get to enjoy the visuals so much because of that. But there are some specific interesting times where he does dim it, and it really changes how the mood goes. All of a sudden, she's seeing weird shit when things get dark. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool stuff. So, I don't know. It's good. No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Perfect. JD,
It's bad.
is this bad?
It's bad. It is bad. Because, again, I didn't get it. I'm a smart guy. I do like it when I watch a movie and then I find out, I go on the internet after and I go, oh, the reason the director did this was because it's an allusion to that. And when I already like the movie, I think that's so cool. Like, I love that. I go, wow, I like it even more now. But this, I just didn't really get it at all. And I went on the internet and I couldn't find any definitive sort of answers to any of the questions. Like, why is a furry filleting a random dude that Shelley Duvall can suddenly see? You know what I mean? Like,
Do you want a theory on that?
I know, I don't. I don't care anymore. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's just, again, goes back to my theory, which is let's show them a bunch of freaky shit. And yes, to be fair, we're talking iconic shit. The blood, the twins, the Here's Johnny, the, Shelley Duvall losing her mind, all of that. All of that is great, but it doesn't make for a very interesting story. It doesn't make for a particularly scary movie. And I just felt like I didn't get it. And by the way, the last shot of Jack Nicholson, like frozen just all of a sudden in the daytime, laughably hilarious, like bad, right?
I know,
Like,
but was it at the time? Though? That's what you can never tell. watching
Yeah.
movies.
I mean,
when you were 5.
I wasn't 5.
But you don't like because it was a jump cut?
I just didn't.
No,
it was,
he's just
I
saying
just
it
thought it
looks
looked
very
ridiculous. He's like cross-eyed, like, dead guy, So I didn't buy it. By the end of it, I was just sort of like bored, and I didn't get any of the references. Stanley Kubrick. Shout out to him. Like, it's good for you. I'm glad.
You did some good stuff. You did some good stuff.
I'm
You
glad.
didn't have. Did you have as many podcasts as I had? No, you didn't.
No, that's true. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So I hate to say it. I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to like it on my this rewatch.
It brings us no joy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's to some people it brings people joy going against the grain. They wait to find something that's popular just to say they hated it.
Right. And
But that's not my experience of this, and I don't think that's yours. We're desperately trying to love this movie.
that is the point of this show.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
So
And with that, I will say that, look, I'm going to cheat because I don't know, is this a binary, like, is this good? Where it's either good or it's not good? Mm-hmm. Because I guess I'm hiding behind the not and just saying it's not bad. It's not bad.
I like that.
It can't be bad. It can't be bad. This
Yeah.
movie has wormed its way into culture, into so many people's brains. I think that the age I saw it makes a difference. I think that knowing so much about it before I saw it makes a difference. But on a second watch, I honestly did the point of this podcast and I appreciated it more because I just honed in on Jack as failed artist. And even this part of when Grady tells him like, oh, your son is very talented, very powerful. The worst nightmare for a failed artist, right? That their son is actually better than them and more talented than them, and they have to.
When you
keep
become
them
a
down.
dad, I don't think you'll think that.
Okay.
I think that's a fair
Jill,
thing.
don't let us go to a secluded hotel.
I think that's a fair thing to say. I mean, I guess what I should be saying is it is good. I just did not like it, and I didn't get it.
The truth is, it's slow. It's slow, and that's like, I watched it twice, both times with Jill. She loves it. She's like, that's exactly why I love it. Just a mood, a vibe.
Yeah.
The sets look amazing. The costume's amazing. She
Yeah.
loves the acting in it, and she's into it. She's read the book. She thinks the movie is better than the book.
Oh, wow.
Actually, and I'm like, fine. I take all those points, but maybe I'm just I need a little more juice because it's boring. It's 2.5 hours. It's slow. It's plotting. You said slow burn, JD, but
Maybe your adrenals are just overworked.
It's just slow. It's quite slow, and it's not scary.
Yeah.
So, which is a thing I will say that, like, again, scared by everything, not scared by this movie.
Yeah.
Which I think does say something. Like, just as a for instance, I watched Speak No Evil. There's an American remake, but we watched the original one last week, and I'm still like, like, I'm trying to get it out of my system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somehow, The Shining did not worm its way into me, but I respect and acknowledge that it wormed its way into a lot of people. So I'm glad we rewatched it, and that's Is This Bad? The Shining edition. What a thrill!
Well,
Anything
it was
before
great.
we go, Rachel or JD?
No, but I might watch it again.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you're on your
I
own.
How
enjoyed
many
it.
chunks? And how many chunks are you gonna watch it in?
Depends on what time of day it is.
I just want to say I got 2 counterpoints. The fact that it's slow is not a complaint of mine. It's just not a complaint. I love 2001. That is a fucking slow
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Speaking of screensavers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no problem with the pace of the movie. And my second counterpoint is to your point about the brightly lit scenes in a horror movie. Jaws almost takes place entirely during the day on the ocean.
That's true.
And it's scary as fuck. So
Well, we were gonna do Midsommar, which is a horror movie that takes place during the day, and you said it was too scary.
too disturbing.
Oh, yes. Oh.
It's a big
Don't
difference.
tell people I was scared watching it. I was merely disturbed. Okay,
still
I was
wanna-
fine. I was
I
fine
want
with
to sit
it.
through it again.
Patreon.com/isthisgood is where you can go to join the Discord and get exclusive content and ad-free episodes. And you will need to subscribe to the Discord if you want to hear the great beyond this week.
Yes. Yes.
Is the Great Beyond just going to be just in the regular podcast feed? No.
What's
You
his
have
name?
to be a patron. Tony.
No, I meant maybe yours would have a different name.
No, it's also Tony. He lives in my mouth. And if you look
Antonio?
in my mouth, you can't see him because he hides.
Okay.
If you have topics, email us at isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Tell us what you think of The Shining.
Yes, please.
And have your opinions changed since you saw it? And I'd also like to know when you saw it, and if you think that has an effect on it. If you saw it in your youth, did that leave an indelible mark upon you? Thanks for listening. Thanks in advance for leaving a 5-star review. For Rachel, JD, I'm Matt Austin. Thanking you for joining Is This Bad Movie Club. See you soon.
Bye.
Noose, oy, ease.